Up as the CDC makes updates to several pandemic guidelines from masks to traveling, local agencies are preparing to see more people packing their bags for vacation.
3 News reporter Mariah Gallegos joins us live in studio with what this economic boom means for the coastal bend. Mariah?
That's right. I checked in with local travel agencies around this time last year. As you can imagine, there have been a ton of changes since the pandemic started. However, today they are hopeful to see a significant financial turnaround, and soon.
Two of the girls actually had left the company and pursued something else, but two of us have stayed with the company and are operating on a remote basis.
In September last year, Mark Johnstone, president of Sanborn Travel Services, decided to close his storefront after taking a major economic hit.
Last year we were very depressed. You know, there was no vaccine out there. Basically the whole world was shutting down, you know, our phones were not ringing, and we were spending most of our time refunding people who had already bought travels.
He saw a nearly 90% decline in clients.
My guesstimate was we were down last year, in some cases over 70%.
John LaRue with the Corpus Christi Chamber of Commerce says it is no surprise to hear of the agency's challenges throughout the year.
70% of our membership of 2,000 members are small businesses from 2 to 20 people. So they were the ones that were really affected by this shutdown. They didn't have the resources or the cash reserves to just keep going.
However, both LaRue and Johnstone say with more people getting vaccinated and the recent lifting of CDC guidelines show a positive sign for the future business.
It's a whole different ballgame today. I mean, I think people are excited about traveling.
Johnstone added they have already started seeing bookings for next year, 2022. So good for them over there.
That's
yeah.
good
Nice
news.
to see businesses picking back up.
They need that. A lot of people need that.
And we all need vacations.
Oh,
right,
for sure.
Mariah?
If we could prescribe, we'll get Dr. Serrani to prescribe vacations for everybody.
She's already hanging 10. Mariah is already hanging 10.
Thank you.